Thanks. I think I have at least one fan out there. Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. Well, good evening, friends, fellow filmmakers, faculty, students, and families. It's great to see everyone here, especially the people who spent the last 15 months learning how to make movies together. We made it. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's a big deal. My name is Dan LaMaestra, and I am proud and excited to be here tonight alongside my fellow graduating class. I'd like to begin tonight by talking about something that's both very old and very current. Humans have been telling stories for as long as we've existed, long before cameras, before scripts, before anyone yelled cut. We would gather and attempt to make sense out of what it means to be here. In a recent interview for his movie titled Here, the acclaimed writer-director Robert Zemeckis was asked about new technologies, including artificial intelligence, and what he thought its impact would be. His answer was quite simple. He said, "The continuum is man's desire to tell stories around the campfire. The only thing that keeps changing is the campfire itself." And change it has, from campfires to painting on cave walls, to writing and drawing on stone, and then paper, books, printing press, telegraphs, telephones, radios, televisions, and of course, moving pictures, which we all love to make. And now to our ubiquitous smartphones that we check more often than we'd like to admit. And I'm one of those people. That idea stuck with me because it's a reminder that what really matters is not the medium, the methods, or the tools. Rather, it's perspective, focus, intention, and where we choose to look. And that brings me to one specific idea we learned about in this program: where to put the camera. What we have really been learning here isn't just how to make films, it's where to put our attention. Early on in our first semester in a directing class, our instructor, who was Don Schneider, thank you, Don, brought in a book. It was written by the acclaimed Hollywood director David Mamet, called On Directing. It's a great book, highly recommend it. It begins with laying out three main questions a director must answer: where to put the camera, what to tell the actors, and what is the scene about? While all three are critical, I want to focus for a moment just on the first one: where to put the camera. On the surface, it sounds rather obvious, maybe simplistic, but if you sit with it for a moment, it becomes something much bigger. Where you put the camera determines what matters, where the attention goes, where the energy flows. It shapes meaning, not just in a scene and in an overall story, but in a day, a project, a life. That's the question we've really been learning to answer for the last 15 months. Consider a wide-angle shot, like that camera back there has got a wide angle. A wide shot gives us context, perspective, a big picture. I don't know how many of you know this, but after coming back from being in outer space, astronauts frequently talk about something called the overview effect. When they see the Earth from space, they see this blue swirling ball, this whole system. They often describe very strong feelings of awe, unity, and interconnectedness. We might consider that the ultimate wide shot. All those humans on that giant blue ball floating in space. In his Pale Blue Dot speech at Cornell University in 1994, the famed astronomer Carl Sagan spoke on the classic image of Earth taken from deep space by the Voyager 1 space probe from 3.7 billion miles away. This is a true thing. You can find this picture online. The Earth, our Earth, takes up just a few pixels in the photo. He wrote, quote, That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. How about that for a story? Sheer poetry. Maybe the ultimate wide-angle shot is that. We can contrast that with an extreme close-up. Modern cameras let us see an insect like a large animal, a grain of sand like a boulder, a human eye like a planet. A wonderful example in the film world comes from Sergio Leone, particularly the film Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. Leone comes in close on his actor's eyes and lingers there for a while. We see resolve, fear, hesitation, concern, panic, conviction. When a filmmaker cuts shots like these together, they're telling a specific story, the story they want you to see, each shot framed with the specific visual elements that matter. And framing isn't just about what we include, it's about what we leave out. Our brains do this constantly. Selective attention filters noise so we can focus, listening to a conversation in a crowded room or reading deeply while chaos hums in the background. What we allow into the frame tells a story and shapes experience. We do this very thing in our lives each and every day. Instead of a camera, it is our eyes and ears, our very attention that does the framing and curates the shot selection. So much activity, so much to experience. Where will we put our attention for a few hours a day, much less a few precious minutes? Especially in this modern internet and smartphone era, these kinds of personal decisions can be and very much are highly pivotal, and we all feel it every day. Where to put the camera, indeed. Throughout our time at NFI, we were exposed to nearly every aspect of filmmaking, from the art and craft of screenwriting, shot design and storyboards, to complex lighting techniques and technical production equipment. We spent time exploring the art of production design, creating scenes from scratch using props, lighting, and painted backdrops. For 3 semesters, we studied story structure, from the basic 3 acts of beginning, middle, and end to the multifaceted concept of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey and Robert McKee's story points. These ideas and structures are not only for storytelling, we live them every day of our lives. Today, tonight, is a hero's journey. This very thing is a hero's journey. For 2 semesters, we were taught about the post-production world of dialogue and music and ambient sound, from recording footsteps timed just right to match a character on screen, to recreating the ambience of a downtown coffee shop or a nearby park. From bringing recorded dialogue front and center in an audio mix to re-recording it later in a quiet studio when the integrity and quality of the project demanded that kind of attention to detail. Thank you, Doug DeAngelis. Here at New Mind, for 15 weeks, we were introduced to the world of virtual film production, from the classic green screen techniques used in TV and films for decades to cutting-edge software that allows incredible amount of detail in building not just a backdrop, but 3-dimensional worlds in which to tell our stories using industry-standard tools such as Epic's Unreal Engine. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. It's really fun. And by the way, it's free, unless you're making millions of dollars using it. And throughout all 4 semesters, there was rarely any shortage of production work and logistics to manage. Between our own various class projects week to week and other classes that needed some extra hands, opportunities to learn and grow are everywhere. Equipment pickups, location scouts, call sheets, schedules, casting, costumes, crew, so much more. And slowly, quietly, all of this studying and working starts to teach us something about ourselves. People begin to gravitate towards certain roles, not because they were assigned, but because they felt right for them. Because this is not about mastering everything. Rather, it's about learning how the magic is made and where each of us can fit and work inside the world of filmmaking. Some were drawn to directing and shaping the whole story, others to operating the camera and crafting images. Some to writing and building worlds on paper, others to special effects, animation, sound, and music, and yet some to producing, keeping the entire thing moving, and others to props, costumes, and overall set design. All of those roles are critical to the quality and the integrity of the final film. The movie only works because they exist together. Where to put the camera, where to put your focus, your attention, your time, your energy, your creative contribution. Looking back, there were many memorable lines we kept hearing from our teachers, some of which are here tonight with us. Here's a couple that I'll share with you. I looked through all my notes. This was fun. 1, don't be boring. Remember that? Make it hard on your hero. Thanks to James Riley for that one. Shannon Connolly taught us you are always behind. You never ahead, you're always behind. Always roll during rehearsal. Thank you, Dion Hawley, for that one. Always roll during rehearsal. Make every shot a master shot. Thank you, Don Schneider. Everything points to the North Star. Again, Don Schneider. Doug DeAngelis taught us to be methodical about how you do things. Choose your microphone by what you don't want to record. And I love this one. Master the ability to communicate and collaborate with your team. Thank you, Doug. And this is my personal favorite. We're getting there. We're getting there. They're laughing because that's something I said a lot. In closing, impactful and meaningful filmmaking rarely comes from doing more for its own sake. I think we've learned that here. More often, it comes from choosing wisely again and again, from the pages of the script to the storyboards and what happens on set, all the way to the cuts in the editing room. And the truth is, technology will keep changing. The campfire keeps changing, but the question stays the same. Where will you put your attention, your energy, your focus? We get to do that as filmmakers, to choose where to place that camera and why. Because that choice, more than any piece of gear or amount of pre-production or budget or money, it ultimately determines the stories that all of you and all of us will tell. And when things feel unclear, when you feel behind, you can gently breathe and say, we're getting there. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the graduates today.